Mm.
Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly, you been money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly, Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin. I'm melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin. 'Cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that fly Nubian money. Boss talk only, we stack it up. We talk about that money. We all that money. I know we in money. I know we in money.
Hi, ladies. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're at. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. So let's get into it. For decades, reparations have been one of the most controversial conversations in America. Supporters argue Black Americans are dealing with the financial consequences of slavery, segregation, housing discrimination, and policies that systematically blocked wealth creation. Critics argue reparations are divisive, unrealistic, or impossible to calculate. Now, conversations around government spending and Trump's economic policies are reopening old wounds and old questions. Because when people see money being allocated to corporation, foreign aid, tax breaks, stimulus programs, immigration programs, disaster reliefs, or other priorities, many ask the same question. Why does reparations always seem impossible when money is found for everything else? This conversation is not only about politics, it's about economics, historical debt, wealth, whether American is willing to have serious conversations about financial repairs. And I cannot have this conversation without by myself. I'm Dominique Morgan, and I have ladies that are smart and beautiful, the right ladies to have this conversation. So we have Miss Yolanda, we have Minister Connie, and we have a special guest today. We have Professor Tasha Young. So this is going to be an amazing conversation. So I'm just going to go around. When you guys first heard or seen this topic, or you guys heard about this, what were your thoughts? Minister Connie, I'm going to start with you.
Well, yes. When I heard about you're talking about the slush fund that Trump is trying to give to criminals, I thought, wow, there is money to come up with for criminals. So why not reparation for us? Yes. And it's been on the table for so long. The thing is, they don't want to give us that power. That's what it is. They don't want to give us that power because we will have a lot of it.
Yeah.
If we're taught right, some of our people need to be taught about money, though.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. I just feel like if they wanted to, they would. They don't want to. They
They
can
don't want to.
spend money for everybody else, everything else, but not for us. It's
Right,
to me. And the thing about it is we are entitled that. Everybody else gets it, but you don't want to give it to us. Again, if
right.
they wanted to do it, they would. They don't want to because
They
again,
don't.
it positions us differently. It kind of leverages the playing field for us. They don't want that. They want to keep us behind. And this is a way to keep us behind by holding funds that we are entitled to. That's what
Mhm.
they want to do. Yolanda, what were your thoughts?
Mm, Child. Okay, so my thoughts is this. My thoughts are this. If they can give reparations to those slaveholders that received government handouts and benefits from ending slavery, then we should get reparations. If they can give reparations to the Japanese people who were held here in internment camps,
Mm-hmm.
they can give us reparations. If they can still give reparations, which they still are doing to Jewish people,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't even enslaved in this country, but they had some bad experiences over in Germany, but the United States still continue to pay them. They can give us reparations. What's the problem?
Yeah, that's
What's
true.
the problem?
If they wanted to, they would. They don't
Yeah,
want
what
to.
up? What's good?
Professor Tasha, what were your thoughts?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here to talk about this. Reparations.
Voices sounded a little.
You sound like you're underwater.
Uh, I'm not sure how to fix that.
You might have to come back out and come back in.
Let me
Yeah, you have to
Mm-hmm.
come back out and come back in.
Yeah, because I'm excited to hear what she has to say.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, she's an
This is yeah, this is her expertise. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
really want to hear that. But you know what? The enemy don't want her to say these things. So we
absolutely.
bind up the enemy of the airway right
And
now in Jesus' name. Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, right now. Yes.
Excited to hear what she says. I'm trying to give her a second to come back in. But
Right.
come right back in, and we'll go to the video. But I still want to go back to what she has to say. So I'm gonna give her a second.
A
Mhm.
Republican, actually a bunch of them, about 14 total. They hate black folks so much that they are willing to sponsor a bill that if a state, a county, or even a municipality, if they give a penny of money to black people in the guise or under the guise of reparations, it should eliminate all federal funding from ever coming to that entire state forever. Put up the picture. I mean, that's some hate. Texas Republicans in the House are not simply threatening the loss of federal funding for lawmakers who support reparations for black residents. They have now introduced a bill to do just that. The 13 co-sponsored bill introduced by Brian Babin.
I mean, it's so sad to me that we're hated so much that you will fight anything that is going to make us better, that's going to position us differently. It's heartbreaking. Like, to be in this space just because of the color of your skin, that you're hated that much, but then people can rush the Capitol, and because how they suffered based on their choices. We didn't have a choice to be a slave.
Right.
We didn't have a choice. We didn't ask to be a slave. We were forced into slavery. But they had a choice to go to the Capitol, and they find money, for them. Yolanda, what were your thoughts when you saw that video?
Okay. Typical white men shit. Excuse my language. Typical white men stuff. This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? First of all, we're in a time right now where black people are making great strides. Okay. I mean, we are fully aware of this world that we are in. We are fully aware of this America that we are in. They know this. And they know that if we get our hands on reparations, what the hell could happen? Okay. We will flip this mother out. We really would. Okay. Because already we're doing it and we don't even have the reparations.
Right.
Okay? Just to add to this, I'm an insurance broker. The state of Ohio just recently suspended home care agencies from being formed. Do you know why? I think because the majority of the home care agencies that were being erected were from Black people. And so they wanted to slow down Black businesses, which is one of the number one businesses in the state of Ohio. And they did this by saying, there's a moratorium on, we don't want no more applications. We're suspending applications until further notice.
Not only there, but in Pennsylvania too.
They did it in Pennsylvania.
Because I own a home care agency 30 years.
See?
So, yeah.
Wow.
So, and the number one owners of home care agencies that are opening are Black women, and specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Because I insure them. They're my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just mind-boggling that they are trying to prevent them from being business owners and trying to prevent them from making their money.
Yeah.
It is sickening. And this is what they do. Anytime we get ahead, anytime it looks like we're about to do something really great, they suppress us.
Yeah. Yeah. And imagine like we're coming from slavery and
Mm-hmm.
we've caught up, right? We're right there.
Right.
We're with them. And the only reason why we haven't surpassed them is because of things like this. They, any way that we're positioned, any time we're involved in something, anytime we have more knowledge and power and education, they do something to throw a monkey wrench in that because they know that we are going to pass them. They know what we're capable of doing. So imagine being suppressed and somebody had their hands on your head and you're still able to push your way up. That's what's happening. And so
Exactly.
if they give us reparations, imagine how that propels us and positions us. We're gonna overpower them. We're gonna
Right.
take over them. So that's, they don't want that. Minister Connie,
Mm.
what were your thoughts about the video?
Oh, you know what? Redlining, all that. They make a law to keep us down. But
Mhm.
no matter what, God is going to rise us up, no matter what, because He loves His people, especially the people of God. But, I never let anything um, y- keep me down. You know, I think we are so resilient and everything. You see how they had the Ubers and everything? That was jitneys back in the day. Remember that?
Yeah.
We were called jitneys. Now they got the Uber. They take everything we have, they put the money together and make it bigger. I'm not going to say better, but they make it bigger. And they keep on just doing things, and we keep on recreating ourselves. We all have to, at some point in time, have to recreate yourself. That's what I'm doing now because of the home care business. One of the things there, I can understand them putting um, a moratorium on that. But the thing is that because a lot of young women and go into this business and don't know nothing about the regulations and stuff. So I do understand that, but it shouldn't stop those that are able to do it. Shouldn't stop them at all. So yes, I do understand that, but we have to sometimes recreate ourselves over again. And that's what we've been doing for the last, what, 400 years, recreating ourselves so that we could get better and bigger. So that's
Yeah.
my say on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And even, as a people, like in terms of home care, they're getting into the business because they're just doing it afraid. They may not have the knowledge or the information, and they don't get a mentor, so they don't have the regulations, but they're trying to do something different. They're trying to
Thank
position
you.
themselves. Would you rather them start a home care agency or hit you over your head? You get what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
Right.
but I do agree that
Exactly.
you have to study to show yourself approved. So you
Right.
Right.
have to have the information and the knowledge. But again, they're doing something positive. They're
Right.
doing something to position themselves so they're not out here doing illegal stuff. So just an FYI, ladies, I cannot see the comments. I know they're popping up on the screen, but if anything pops out, if you guys don't mind sharing it, that would be great. Um,
Okay.
so what in you guys' opinion, what should reparations actually look like? I'm gonna start with you, Yolanda.
Yes. Yes. Because look, okay, a while back, about 10 years ago, two friends of mine and myself, we created what is called the Reparations Project. Okay. And we kept it on the low at first because we were just so, we used to have these conversations about why aren't we getting reparations? What does reparations look like? What should we, petition for? So we created a group and we were actually going to go to the government and state our case for reparations. And the great thing about it, as I was doing my research, I came across a political figure in the Caribbean because there was a Caribbean country, and I'm so sorry, guys, I don't know the country, but they actually got reparations and they won. And the gentleman who was the spearhead of it, he laid out everything that should fall under reparations, which included health care, mental care. Okay, not just money, because reparations is not about money. We need
Right.
to be made whole across the board.
Absolutely.
All right. Money's easy. All right. But
Mhm.
we should get free health care, free taxes for the rest of our lives if you are a American descendant of slavery.
Mhm.
There are other things that we should get, again, mental health.
Mhm.
All right. Maybe even free food and education. Who knows? I don't know. And
I
also, our 40 acres and a mule that they promised us that they have yet to give to us, that they
Yeah.
reneged on.
Yeah.
Those are just some of the things that they should be giving us. And that's not asking for a lot. But whatever they took from us in slavery, they should be giving it to us right now to make ourselves whole, our families whole, our lineages whole. That's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. What about you, Minister Connolly? What do you think it should actually look like?
I believe that it should be definitely what Yolanda said. And I liked what you said earlier about the Jews and the Japanese people or whatever Asian people, how they got reparation. I was reading up on that, but I didn't want to mention that. I was going from today current events.
Mhm.
But I think that we should have funding for that in education, especially mental health, because we've seen some, even looking at some of the pictures from slavery that they've been showing up on Facebook, it just makes me want to cry. It really is so terrible. We was treated worse than an animal, you know, just because you looked at something or you dropped an egg. That's so humane.
Is
That's not humanity. That's the devil. That's
Or,
evil.
or
It's
somebody lied
evil.
on you, or
Or
somebody
lied on you, or anything, you were killed.
Yeah.
That is just not right. But there should be funding for all those areas, plus funding for money, education, yes, to make us whole again. Because we're carrying a lot of that lineage of abuse from
Mhm.
back 400 years ago. Whatever trauma happens in your bloodline, it's passed on to the next generation. It does
Absolutely.
not leave.
Yeah.
So therefore, a lot of things that is showing up in our children is because it's in our bloodline. I believe that,
yes, for cellular
whatever trauma.
memory. Cellular
Right.
memory is what it's called.
Yeah.
Is what?
Cellular memory is what it's
Oh,
called. Meaning
yeah.
our DNA, our cells is all affected by trauma, and
Trauma.
our descendants remember it, our lineages remember it when they're born.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
I remember some type of trauma. I just know I'm black and I know it means something in this world. I shouldn't have to feel that way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To exist.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
And I agree. I do believe that there needs to be a holistic approach, because even when you
Right.
think about our family structures have been destroyed
Yeah,
based on slavery. They pulled children out of homes, they pulled husbands away from wives, and we
Yeah.
have not quite been able to get that together at
No,
all.
we haven't.
And
No.
so you got to think about it. Think about how powerful a family structure is. These
yeah,
are a lot of things, and it's hard to get that because, again, we're dealing with those traumas. We're dealing with the backlash of what happened to our ancestors, over time. And there has to be something different that is done. I do agree that money is great, but having that holistic approach, dealing with people's mental health. Think about
Hmm.
the people that did try to come from this and got the finances and Black Wall Street and all these things that happened. And again, you
Yes.
take it away from us again.
Yes.
When we're trying to
Yes.
build, we're not hurting nobody. We're not hitting nobody over their head, but it's okay to hurt us. And when you
Right.
have conversations with people, oftentimes they're scared to do it. Like, well, all they're gonna do is take it from us. And I'm like, but that's the mindset. You're afraid that if I
mindset, they're
build it,
paralyzed.
yes. So if I
Yeah,
build
Right.
it up, it don't make no sense anyway. They're gonna take it from me. Anything that will benefit us and help us and grow us as a people, they take it from us.
exactly. And also, Dominique, let's not forget Jim Crow.
Mm.
Let's
Hmm.
not forget what they did to us during that era. Can't drink from water fountains, and you had, there was so many lynchings during that time as well too.
Hmm.
They lynched us just from, like you said, looking at something, dropping
Right.
something, whatever.
Right.
The
They used to have
lie.
Yes, lynch parties and picnics. They would bring
And
their food.
picnics. They
How
used to
can you
eat up.
see something so gross and have a picnic? I,
Exactly.
And
but they call,
that's
they call us savage.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we're not savage.
No,
Mm-mm.
they're
And
savage. That's mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
let's not even forget they had our knuckles and knees up in butcher shops eating that shit. Okay. They used to eat us. They actually used to sell our knuckles and our knees. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
I,
And
I
put them
did
up in
see
butcher
that.
shops, and people used to buy them. All right. And let's not forget about our babies being thrown to alligators and eaten alive. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget that we were marginalized. We couldn't go to certain schools, and the schools that they did build for us was subpar and gave us the worst education imaginable. Let's not forget that this shit is still happening now. Because if you are on a corporate plantation and some white lady will lie on you, whose word are they going to believe? Yours
There's.
or hers?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Think
It's
about Emmett.
still happening to this day.
Think about
It
Emmett
is.
Till. He was lied on. It didn't even happen. And
It
she
didn't
admitted that she lied. And even with her admitting that she lied, there were no consequences. So there's
Yeah.
not
She was able to
consequences.
die peacefully, girl.
Yes.
She was able to
How?
die peacefully.
How? How?
Mm-mm-mm.
So why should we not get reparations if this is the case? After
Mm-hmm.
all of that, why are you not giving us reparations?
Absolutely.
I'm just noticing that the professor has not been able to come back. Oh, this is so terrible
I know
because
because it's
we
such a
was ready to hear what she had to say. It's just so terrible that she cannot get on here. So we just hopefully she could get on at some point of time so that we could hear what she got to say, so that we could find out what we could all do collectively to
Yeah.
help, this whatever movement, because it's just more of a movement. I don't know if there is any kind of bill
yes,
that they have
there's not no bill. There have been bills introduced into Congress over
that
time that has been
shot
squashed.
down.
And there's actually an active bill right now for reparations that has just it's been sitting there for years. Okay, that's number one. All right, but they fail to address it. They keep pushing whatever we put to the to the forefront. They put it to the back burner. This is why ADOS. I don't want to say her name on this platform because of past history, but she, created ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, so that we can start to have the conversation. And first of all, we need to be recognized in this country that we are American descendants of slaves, because
Yes, we are.
there are influxes of other races that look just like us that were not born into slavery. They don't have any type of lineage, slavery lineage. All right. But yet they get benefits that we should be getting. And that's understandable, fine. All right. If they ever do give us reparations, now they're saying, oh, how can we identify you as being a descendant of slavery? That's why those organizations were created. The FBA, the Foundational Black American Organization, all those things were created purposely for this moment in time. It is time for us to get reparations.
Yep. It's past time. We're overdue. I think we have another video, Miss Producer.
Producer.
Let me clear some things up along the lines of reparations because people keep acting confused on purpose. I'm convinced that it's on purpose. So, yes, first of all, the United States did pay Holocaust survivors, not because the Holocaust happened here, it didn't, and not because the U.S. caused it, they didn't. The U.S. paid through courts, restitution laws, and settlements to help survivors recover their stolen assets and receive compensation, even though the crime happened overseas in Germany. And Germany did want to take up responsibility, and they paid over $90 billion in reparations, and they still pay survivors yearly and monthly compensations today through programs coordinated by the Claims Conference. Now, let's keep going. Japanese Americans, y'all, that are U.S. citizens, were legally imprisoned during World War II. The U.S. admitted it was wrong and paid them under the Civil Liberties Act of 1988. It was $20,000 per surviving internee, a formal apology, and a one-time payment. Native Americans, they received billions of dollars in settlements, like Cobalt versus Salazar for stolen land and mismanaged trust funds. They also received federally funded services tied to treaty obligations, not charity, but legal responsibility. Now let's talk about us, Black Americans. Slavery happened, y'all, on U.S. soil. Jim Crow was enforced by U.S. law. Free Black labor, y'all, built federal wealth, railroads, banks, institutions, even the White House. And what did Black Americans receive, y'all? We didn't get no reparations, no pensions, no land, no compensation for trauma, no federal apology, and no pay. Well, let me go back. Bill Clinton gave an apology, but it was just no payment attached to it. So understand this clearly. The U.S. has paid people it did not harm. It has paid people it wronged. It has paid people that was harmed outside of the U.S. borders. But when it comes to Black Americans, hear me well, harmed directly and deliberately and legally in this country, when it reparation talks, it becomes too complicated. But they can pay everybody else. And it's even talks now, y'all, of possibly reparations for Venezuelans. I hope I broke that down to where you can understand it, and that will give you a fair fight when you're speaking on reparations and what the U.S. has done for other folks outside of U.S. territory. I'm Dr. O, y'all, and I'm out.
There's a reason for that too.
I'm speechless. But the thing about it is, even with all the facts, because we're Black, they're not doing anything. They're not saying anything. They're not helping because of the fact that we're Black. Everybody else is getting reparations. Everybody else is getting support. And my thing is, I don't know why this doesn't anger us to a whole nother level to cause us to do more and do different and have a movement, because it's not right and it's not fair. They
Yeah,
came and got us. They took us. They bothered us. We didn't bother nobody. And we're
exactly.
suffering generation after generation after generation.
So, Dominique, you
Yes.
think about it. How was they able to keep us in slavery? How was they able to keep us in slavery? How
Because
how because we kind of stayed there too, right? We stayed on those plantations, didn't we?
yeah,
It all starts in the mind.
yeah,
We as collectively as Black folk got to get our minds right up in this bitch. We
yeah,
got to stop being fearful. We got to stand up, and we have to demand that they give us reparations. Because
yes,
us asking for it, we've been asking for it for many years now, and it's not happening. So at this point, we must demand that we get it. And one person made a good point, which I've always used to talk about, is the fact that the Japanese had a country to go back to. They had a country that was backing them, which is why they got reparations. Venezuela, yeah, they talking about that, getting reparations for what happened to them, but they also have a country that's backing them, right?
We
And
don't.
yeah, and the Jews, they have a special relationship with the whole entire world that I'm still trying to delve into, see what was the special source. And they were able to get it. Black Americans, even though some of us, our lineages were born on this land, and I'm talking about way past before white people got here, this land is still not considered ours. They don't really consider us Americans. And this is why we don't have anybody backing us. Nobody backs us, not even Africa.
yeah,
And this
Well,
is
you
why
know,
they're able to do what the
yeah.
fuck they want to do to us.
yeah,
You know
Our
what?
own country is doing this.
A lot of us are from indigenous people,
Yes.
Hindu.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my mother. My grandmother was full blooded. So therefore, when I had a blood test, my first nationality was not African American.
Yeah.
It was that was my second. because of the, but we don't get, my family, we do not get any money from the government. So a lot of us lost out on that also. So not just the our bloodline with both, and a lot of us, or we do have a lot of Indian in us. That's what they call it. Indian, indigenous people. We
Indigenous.
do have that. Yeah.
Because my
So
family is indigenous to this land. I can trace them way
yeah.
back.
Yep. Yep.
Blackfoot, Sioux, and all kinds of
Yep.
Native
Yep.
Americans are in
Right.
my bloodline. You know,
Yep. And
they
and
don't want
we,
to claim us either.
yeah, we missed out on that also. So so there's a lot of things that we missed out on. But that's the way they write laws,
Yep.
for that. Because my mother was telling us that as we was growing up, we was very, very rich with land, but the family was killed for it. The
Yes,
government would make up like treaties and contracts, and then they would go back on it, and so they had to keep on fighting for their land where it wasn't worth it anymore. So they moved out and gave them the land and started somewhere else. So our family gave up a lot of land.
they did.
So we
Some
did.
of my family, their land was taken away from them in North Carolina. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because they couldn't. Some of them couldn't read, so they used to give them like, "Oh, sign this paper. Oh, thank you for your land." You know what I'm saying? They took
Yeah.
it from them. They
And
Yeah.
coerced.
think about having to go to court and fight. People didn't have the money to do
They
that.
didn't have the money or the meat, and you're black. How you
Yeah.
going to go to court?
Yeah, and that's the truth too. So you, even if you go, you're gonna lose anyway. So you're gonna waste your money and you're gonna lose just because of the fact that you're African American.
Yeah,
Right.
and then on top of that, the government was taking a lot of black people's land from eminent domain. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
guys remember that. They were taking a lot. Oh, we need to put a highway here. Land taken.
Yep.
We
And,
Yep.
need
That's
and
there.
giving
yep.
you a little bit of nothing, giving you some change for your land.
It's
Mm-hmm.
nearly not what it was worth.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's the sad part. And they still, oh my goodness, they're still doing it to this day. If you look it up, there's some places down south where they're trying to take it, they still trying to take black people's land. Just in Geechee Gullah land, they were trying to touch that. The Geechee, the Geechee Gullahs in South Carolina, they were trying to touch them. They stood up and said, hell no. Come on. How much are y'all going to mess with us? Leave
Mm-hmm.
us alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. What do you think America can realistically afford in terms of reparation, Minister Connie?
Nothing. Really nothing. Actually, we are so in debt.
Yeah, we
So
are.
I think that we need to get our economy right first. But I always say I live above the economy because where I come from, everybody's rich. That's the truth. But the thing is, outside of that, the economy needs to be fixed. It really does. Before anything needs to be given out to anybody, So that's the first thing that needs to happen also. But on reparation, I think that a lot of the families that was given the money that is still in that family, it should start with the slave owners.
Taking the land back.
Yes, and whatever um money that they have left. Yeah, they should pay us. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one way of fixing the uh, uh, to help with that bill. And also, like I said, and whatever the government can give. But the way things is going, how can you give billions of dollars for a slush fund when we are in debt so much? It's terrible the way this president is just throwing money around like it don't mean anything. How can we make a person, well, I didn't, but how can we vote a person in that bankrupt that many times, married that many times, and lied constantly? When you true fact checker, when we check the facts of what he said, nothing was ever true. How did he get in again? I just don't understand that.
Because they had an agenda and they knew that he would go with it. And so they don't care about morals, they don't care about character, they don't care about integrity. They have an agenda. And so whoever's willing to do whatever to get their agenda across, they're going to put them in office. And that's what happened, because there's no way he's a convicted felon. All these
Mhm.
things. If, as an African American convicted felon, he could barely get a job, but this man can be president of the United States.
Exactly.
Let that sit in. Let that sink in. But the thing is, they had an agenda that they were pushing, and they needed somebody that was fearless. They needed somebody that was willing to do whatever and don't care and say whatever. This is what's going to happen. And guess what? He's the man for the job. And so that's how he was able to get in.
And you can see everything's jacked up. Have you seen the White House? You see how it's all dismantled and tore up.
He tore it up.
Tore it up. Tore
Well,
it up.
once we realize that the president is selected, he's selected. Okay. Again, he's not elected. He's selected. Okay. By those 12 people that put that little vote in. Then we'll see. That's the reason why he got in. Because, like Dominique said, it's all a setup. It's an agenda.
Was the selection. That was their selection.
Yeah.
And then, Dominique, to answer your question that you asked Minister Connie, if they're able to print money for COVID and all those other good things, they can print us our money too. They can run us our money too. Okay.
Absolutely.
They was printing lots of dollars during the COVID, giving everybody COVID relief funds in a billion.
Hey, you know what?
So
that was okay with me. I was one. Hey,
Look, don't have no shame, girl. That's your pre-reparation check.
Yeah.
That was your pre.
Yes.
But yes. I agree with you, Yolanda. I believe they can afford to do it.
Yeah, they can.
They would. They find the money for everybody else. They finding it to do whatever they want to do with it. They have the money. They can do what they want to do. Print the money up. We listen. They can do
this is an infinite amount, because I have it an infinite mindset. Yeah. Okay. An infinite mind. Whatever you want, you can have. Trust and believe. If they can print up they can print up other funds for other people, they can run us our money too.
Oh, sure, definitely. But
they just don't want us to have it because of what we can do with it, the possibilities that will follow after we get those services.
Exactly.
They like for us to be where we are in this permanent underclass.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
mentally, spiritually, everything.
Yeah.
They just want rich and poor. That's all they want. No in between. Because there's a lot of middle class. But the reason why I said that our dollar overseas is like hardly nothing anymore.
Yeah, so it's dwindling.
We got to think about that also. Our dollar is not strong overseas because we're constantly printing money. You know, we're constantly doing that. And the thing is, we need to fix the things that are wrong, the deficit. We need to fix that. That needs to be fixed along with reparation.
Yeah. Anonymous in the comments said $4 trillion divided by $40 million or 40 million people equals 100,000 per person. That's enough. I agree with them. I do. 4 trillion divided by 40 million equals 100,000 per person.
No, I need more, son. I'm sorry. I need more. Run me my land, run me my resources, run me some tax-free benefits, run me it all. I want it all. Man,
all of it.
That ain't enough. That is not enough.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know what? How many Black people have $100,000 though? Not
Minister Connie, you blink that $100,000 is over. You rich, Minister Connie. You rich. Whatever. That $100,000 is over, girl. You know it too.
I'm with you though, Minister Connie. I'll take the $100,000. Something's better than nothing right now.
You know what? I will make that 100,000 into 4 million.
Listen, I'm with you.
That's why they don't want to give it to us at all, because that's just what we will do. That's just what some of us will do.
Yeah,
they don't want us to have that, because we are the creators on this earth. Everybody follows what Black people do. We are the innovators. So just imagine if they put money in our hands.
Man, yeah.
Think about all the things that we created that was snatched from us, that they stole.
Right. Yeah. Girl. Yeah, it was. Hey, you know what? If that is the settlement, $100,000, give it to me.
Give
I'll
it to
take
me.
it
I'll take. I'm with
and
you
see
this
what I
time.
do with it.
Okay, so give me the $100,000. I want my 40 acres and a mule with it. I want some free health care. Okay. Give me some non-GMO seeds. And make a law to leave me the hell alone for the rest of my life.
That's
Okay.
it. That's all. Okay.
I want that in addition to the 100,000. Yes. So,
Okay.
yes.
So I think we have some stats, Miss Producer, because you know this 3-piece spicy. We go. The racial wealth gap between Black and white households remain substantial.
Mhm.
Home ownership gaps continue impacting wealth transfer across generations.
Mm.
Black families historically face barriers through redlining, discriminatory lending, and exclusion for wealth building programs. So true.
Mm-hmm.
Economics continue debating reparations models, including cash payments, housing support, and trust funds. Government spending priorities often shape public conversations about fairness and access.
Mhm.
Okay, I
Mm.
think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. And I agree. And it's just so sad. It's like, even when we're talking about the government and their budget and they can print more money, we struggle financially as African Americans, right? We're barely making it. We're living paycheck to paycheck. That's bad, right?
I'm not going to claim that.
Yeah, we're not claiming that. We're just
Mm.
speaking,
Oh, you're talking about in general,
In
most
other
people.
people's
But
reality,
that's not
honey.
going on.
it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
us. I
Yeah,
agree.
Not
not us.
us.
Other
Not us.
people's reality.
But
Yeah.
when we think about in general, right? And
Right.
when you're having conversations with people, they're living paycheck to paycheck, but the government
Yes.
gives them money, they figure things
Yes.
out, they find money. It's not wrong for them, but
Right.
it's wrong for us. But I do think that we have to have more education.
We
We
do.
do need to come together because we can create this, and they may never give us reparations. So if they never give it to us, what does this look like? Things like Minister Connie, you, Yolanda, myself, creating the opportunities,
Mhm.
Create.
Mhm.
giving the knowledge to people, showing people how to make money. Yes, you can have a job. I do agree. Everybody is not going to be an entrepreneur, right? But if I'm an
Right.
entrepreneur, then I employ my family. I employ
Right.
my friends. I position them because we're going to be fair. We're going to also give them the knowledge, teach them how to create trust, to protect their assets, different things that they can do, because I feel like we lack or we perish because of the lack of knowledge. A lot of things we don't know. We've learned a lot of things late, and now we're getting this overload of information. But I think that it is paralyzing some people. And what I feel is that people have to operate in their area of expertise. I
Right.
may not be the financial person, but I'm the one that's organized. I'm the visionary, whatever the case may
Right.
be. And if we come together and we operate in our areas of expertise and not feel like I have to do it all, I think that we will go so much further. If we're going
Right.
to have a real estate company, like for instance, me and one of my friends, we partnered in real estate. Why do it separately when we can come together?
Yes.
You operate in
Yes.
your area of expertise. Yes, we can do it as individuals. But
Mhm.
Thank
imagine
you,
what we can
Dominique.
do coming together. And that's my mindset. Anytime I do anything, I think about who I can partner with. Can I do it all? Absolutely. Do I want to? Does it make sense? No. Let's do it together and go far and do
Yes.
so much more.
I have a
Right.
small business with one of my girlfriends, right? And I know I'm not strong with social media and stuff and meeting people. Well, I can meet people, yeah, because I'm introverted, extrovert, whatever. Like, I don't know, introverted, introverted, but outro, extra. Well, I don't know what you call it. But anywho, I do all the back end, the business side, because that's where I'm
Yeah.
the strongest. And she does
Yeah.
the front end side. And she's the strongest. So it's so complimentary because of those two things. I keep telling
Mhm.
people, you don't have to be the end or be or get
Mhm.
other people that can do certain things in the business and come together and make a strong business.
Mhm.
Somebody's good with accounting, you let them handle the accountant. Somebody's good with the social media, you let
Right.
them do the social media. Somebody's good with meeting with people and
Mhm.
taking meetings and things let them handle that. Everybody should have
Mhm.
its place.
Exactly. That's good. But going back on the question that was brought up, our church.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Petra International Ministry in Pittsburgh. We are now, have formed for bankers and all different kinds of people and expertise for housing and credit repair and stuff to come in and talk to people that want to, um, buy a house or get insurance and different things like that. I
Yeah.
believe it has to start somewhere. So even if it's in the churches as a community base to help, we're even doing. We got a grant to do a vegetable garden. We got chickens and everything
That's
because
so
we
awesome.
had the land.
Yeah.
So, and we're learning how to eat better, healthier. So I believe that if we all come together, I know some churches that have paid off people's mortgages, helped them put down on their houses. So a lot of that is being done collectively. But if all the churches would do it, it would really work, in every community. I would like to see that happening in every community all over the United States. We will really get somewhere. Little makes much. That's what the Bible says. So if you give $100, you give $100, I give $100, and we all do. You got maybe 2,000 or even 1,000 members. That's money. We could do that every so often. So we can help this person, help this person, help that person. But the one thing I have helped my family go into business, I didn't help my family so much. I don't want to help them no more. The reason why I'm saying that is because they start doing really well and forget all about you.
Yeah.
Reach back and get somebody else. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Reach back and get somebody else. Don't say, "Oh, look at me. Look what I did," but they forgot their beginnings, their small beginnings where somebody helped them. I don't want to be bothered with that. No, I don't want to be bothered with that. So that's what I'm hearing now. So any families out there that's helping their family go into business and get started and you exceed that person that helped you, reach back and help somebody else or even help the person that helped you.
I agree.
I agree with that.
That's the sad piece.
Yeah, I agree with that, Minister Connie. When I give information, I love young people, and so I always want
Mhm.
to pour into them. I want to, give them direction, give them information. But my biggest thing is, I'm not asking you for any money, but I'm asking for you to pay it forward. Help
Pay
somebody
Correct.
it
else.
forward.
Like somebody gave you information and somebody helped you and gave you knowledge and is mentoring you. Do that for somebody else. But I do feel like people have to have some sort of skin in the game because, like you said,
Right.
you give them the information, and we want to give the information because, again, we want to position ourselves as African Americans to do better and to be better. But what if I can bring you to the water, I can't make you drink. And the minute I'm no longer there, what happens with you? You have to want this yourself. You have to want to do it. You have to be chasing me. I used to chase people down like, oh, you can do this, and I'm not doing it anymore. You have to want it yourself. You have to have
You
some skin in
do.
the game. You making sure that you're reaching out to me to get the information. I need to know that you want it more for yourself than I want it for you, because I definitely
Exactly.
want it for you, but you got to want it for yourself as well.
Correct.
So we are
Hmm.
getting time is we done almost got to the end of the show. I think we have one more video, Miss Producer. Miss Producer.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank
Where
you.
she at? Producer. Run the clip. What on?
Once we start going, it's gonna be a problem.
I know, right?
Well, she must be
Maybe
having
not.
problems.
Okay, well, while she's doing that, we do have a Black history fact. We
Yes.
have Miss Callie House was an early leader for the reparations movement in the late 1800s and organized formerly enslaved people seeking pensions and financial compensation decades before reparations became a national conversation. Her work laid ground. Her work laid groundwork for many of the conversations still happening today. That is Miss Callie House. Now,
Yes.
yep. It's Miss Callie House. Now, do Miss Producer, do we have a video? I know she said we do. Okay, so since she hasn't come in yet, I have a quick question, and we can do a quick round robin. What do you think what role do you think education plays in this conversation? I'm gonna start with you, Minister Connie.
Education is very, you know what? Education is very, very important and it's powerful because the thing is, the more we are educated in the things that we're ignorant in, the better off that we are. That's why I said hats off to my minister, I mean my bishop, that at Petra he is bringing in the resource to educate us because education is powerful. We perish for a lack of knowledge,
Yeah,
and that could be in any area of life. But the thing is that you might know how to do something and still don't do it.
yeah,
Got to think about that too.
yeah.
So, education along with application is the way that you should do things.
I agree. I would say that I think education is important, but one thing that I think is underrated is trades, right? So yes, we can have education in terms of knowledge, but learning how to build our own communities, which means that we
Right.
have to have the plumbers, we have to have the electricians. We push for like this formal education and all that. That's great, but if everything goes south and we create a movement, who is building our communities? We need builders. So I
Yes,
think
we do.
education is important, hands down, but that's part of education. And I think sometimes that goes, we don't acknowledge it. It's like, okay, but you need a degree, a bachelor's degree in such and such. But the plumbers, the electricians, the builders, the welders, we need all of that too, especially
Yes,
if
we
we're
do.
having conversations about what does this look like? If we don't get reparations, what do we do? Well, if we're starting to build our own, we buying land, right? Because now we are legit, a lot of us are in position to be able to buy land, right? So we're
Mm-hmm.
buying land. I've said multiple times on this platform that I want to farm. I want to build a community where, we take care of our young, we educate our young, we police ourselves, we take care of our elderly. Who's building that community? So I
Mm-hmm.
agree, education is important, but we need to not just think about the universities, but we need to think about the things that will sustain us. Yolanda, what are your thoughts?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so my thoughts is if education relating to reparations, right? We must teach our children all the horrors of our past. And I'm sorry because until we are made whole in this country, they must know. And even after we are made whole, they must continue to know because we need to repeat that it will never happen again, not ever again. And so we need to continue um, teaching them what happened in the past so that we can always, rectify the future and be stable in the future. Because
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of these babies walking around right now, they don't know anything about slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It is so far gone from them. That's why they don't understand how deep and important this whole conversation surrounding reparations is. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very important conversation. They should be included in it. And if they
Yes,
didn't know the horrors of what happened to their ancestors, they will stand up because a lot of them are already standing up.
they
Okay,
are.
Yep.
a lot of them are or like, wait a minute, why we ain't? And they like money too, so they want their money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're
But
like, wait a minute, why aren't we fighting? What's
yeah.
going on?
Mm-hmm.
But the sad part is they're taking our history out of schools. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's on us to make
Yes.
sure that we educate our children.
Mm-hmm.
You can put
Mm-hmm.
certain people in front of them and they don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason
Right.
it's not Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks,
Mm-hmm.
they don't know because
Yeah,
they're wiping our history out of the education system. So it's going to be on us to make sure that they have the information because I agree. I believe our children are our future and they're going to fight. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
fight and
yeah,
fight.
they
They're
will.
fearless. They are bold and they will fight. But what are they fighting for when they don't even know?
That's right.
Exactly
Yeah.
that
I
part.
make sure I send
That part.
everything to my grandkids. I teach them. I
Yeah.
teach them. I'm getting ready. My grandson is 15. I'm getting ready to open him a brokerage account so that he
That's
could start learning investing through Dr. Boyce Watkins. Yeah, because I bought his training, so I want him to learn. But it's very important for them to know where we came from, what we came from, because you can't, if you don't know where you came from, then you're really lost. You really are, so it's good to know what other people, other black people contribute to our, to us being who we are. So definitely that's important. It's for us as grandparents and mothers to teach our children.
I agree with that. So we are winding down. We are at the end of the show. This was an amazing show, great conversation that I think that we need to continue to have over
Yes.
and over and over again. So, you guys just give your final thoughts. I don't have a question or anything. I'm gonna let you guys kind of free flow. We're gonna make it quick. So give your final thoughts and then let the people know where they can find you. I'm gonna start with you, Yolanda.
oh man, why, Dominic? Why? I'm just playing.
That's funny.
So my final thoughts is this: um, reparations. As long as I'm here on this earth, I'm going to continue to fight for it. I started the fight 10 years ago with some friends. I feel that it's very important that we have it. I feel that it's important for Black people to realize that reparations is not just about money. It's also about, coming whole psychologically, emotionally, and also spiritually. We need to be made whole in all facets. Everything that they have taken from us, our family, our livelihoods, our dignity, humanity, all that needs to be restored by these people. Anywho, you can reach me at mwhitney.com. I'm an insurance broker. I can insure anything, even your pinky toe. So give me a call. I got you. All right.
I was so glad. I'll be so happy when you say that. I don't know why
I
that
like that.
people just
Yeah.
does something. Minister Connie.
Yes. I believe that reparation is something that needs to happen. The thing is that it's been on the table, as we talked about, for a very long time. So it should be a bill that should be passed. So how do we do it? Collectively,
Absolutely.
actually. And I'm glad that you shared that, Yolanda, about, your mission, and that, we need to be educated in that. So I will be asking you for some more information so that I can find out more about that. So collectively, we need to do it all together. But you can find me at ConnieSpearman.com. And yeah, look me up. Also, I have a book called Lord, I Hear You, and I have a notebook to go along with it. It's only $20 a book. For the notebooks, $20. So hit me up.
Thank you. So, my final thoughts. I think that we have to continue to have these conversations. And I think that we have to make sure that our children know about their history. So, despite them wiping, our history out of the school system, it's our responsibility to educate our children so that we can continue the fight. Because if we don't, the fight stops with us. I
Correct.
think that these conversations help us because even, Miss Yolanda, having a conversation about you're fighting for reparations, we have to come together more.
Mhm.
We have to have the conversation so that we know that there are people out here that are fighting for reparations. And what does that look like and how we can come together to
Mhm.
potentially make this happen. But if it doesn't happen, we still got to keep moving and we still got to keep fighting and we still have to keep thriving to make sure that this world is better and our children have better so that generations to come are positioned differently. And that happens by us coming together as one, not being siloed and everybody operating as their own individuals, but we're coming together as a people, not crabs in a barrel, like coming together and saying, hey, we can do this together. We can do so much more together. We can go quickly by ourselves, but we can go far when we go together. So if you're looking
Amen.
for me, you can find me on all social media platforms at the Whitmore Group, or you can go to our website at thewhitmoregroup.com. So guys, this has been a great conversation. I feel so full.
Mhm.
It's been really good. And we need to have more conversations like this. So at the end of the day, reparation conversations are really conversations about money, power, history, and opportunity. People disagree on solutions. People disagree on cost, but the conversation keeps returning because wealth gaps remain visible, and many Black Americans continue asking whether historical harm without economic repair is truly justice. And whether people support reparations or not, one question continues to remain: who gets access to wealth in America and who does not? So if you guys want to, you guys want text notifications when we go live, you can text Queens to 87948. And you can also listen to us on Spotify. We are here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will catch you next week, same time, same channel. You guys have an amazing weekend, and thank you. Bye.